Imagine this. You're in a room full of people. Laughter fills the air. Everyone seems connected, talking, sharing, living. And yet, you feel nothing. You smile politely, laugh at the right moments, but deep inside, there's a silence no one else seems to hear. That's loneliness. Most people think loneliness means being alone, but the truth is far more complicated. You can feel completely isolated while lying next to someone you love. You can feel invisible in a crowd. You can be praised by thousands online, yet feel completely unknown. Today, we're going to break down this feeling most of us try to ignore. Because loneliness isn't what you think it is. It isn't a weakness, and it isn't always about being alone. It's a signal, a call. And if we learn how to listen to it, it might just lead us back to ourselves. Let's start with the biggest myth, that loneliness is about being physically alone. That if you just had more friends, or went out more often, or found a partner, it would all go away. But here's the truth. People aren't medicine. Connection isn't measured in numbers. It's measured in depth. Some of the loneliest people in the world are those with the busiest social lives. Why? Because they're surrounded by people who don't really know them. Or worse, people they can't be themselves around. We live in a world that shames loneliness. We treat it like a sign of failure, when in reality, it's a natural human experience. Everyone, at some point, feels the ache of disconnection. The problem isn't loneliness itself, it's the way we're taught to fear it. When we see someone eating alone at a restaurant, we pity them. When we spend a weekend by ourselves, we wonder if something's wrong with us. But sometimes, being alone is not only okay, it's necessary. What matters is whether we feel connected, not just to others, but to ourselves. Loneliness wears many masks. It doesn't always look like sadness or isolation. Sometimes it looks like overworking. Sometimes it looks like being the life of the party. And sometimes it looks like points you can't explain. Let's break it down into 3 hidden types. 1. Emotional loneliness. This is when you're surrounded by people, maybe even in a relationship, but still feel unseen. You might talk every day, share space, but you don't feel heard. You don't feel held. It's not about presence, but presence without connection. 2. Existential loneliness. This one is deep. It hits you in quiet moments. You start questioning your purpose, your value, your place in the world. You could have a family, a job, friends, and still feel like you're floating without anchor. This is often the loneliness that shows up in moments of major change or growth. 3. Social loneliness. This is the absence of a tribe, people who truly get you. Not just acquaintance, but a real sense of belonging. Maybe you feel different from those around you. Maybe you hide your thoughts, afraid of being too much or not enough. This type of loneliness is about longing for community, not just company. These forms of loneliness often overlap, and most people walk around carrying at least one of them, silently, because we think admitting it means we're broken. But what if loneliness isn't a flaw? What if it's just part of being human? To understand loneliness, we have to look inward. It often begins in childhood. Maybe you were the responsible one, the quiet one, the one who was told to be strong. Maybe you learned early that your feelings were too much, or that asking for love made you a burden. And so, you stopped asking. Years later, you're an adult. But that inner child is still waiting to be seen. Loneliness comes from disconnection, not just from people, but from ourselves. We scroll endlessly, attend gatherings, keep busy. But when the noise fades, we don't know how to sit with our own silence. We've abandoned parts of ourselves to fit in. And the irony is, the more we run from loneliness, the more it chases us. Because we're not meant to live disconnected. We're meant to feel deeply, to connect meaningfully. But first, we have to come home to ourselves. Today, we are more connected than ever, and yet more isolated than any generation before. Social media gives us the illusion of connection, but not the substance. We trade genuine conversation for likes, validation for vulnerability. We share highlights, but hide the heaviness. Hustle culture praises busyness. Productivity is idolized, but rest, stillness, those are seen as laziness. But loneliness often lives in that space between pretending you're okay and actually being okay. We're not taught how to build emotional intimacy. We're taught how to network, how to brand ourselves, how to look confident, but not how to sit across from someone and say, "I feel lost." Do you ever feel that way too? We're starving for real connection, but conditioned to fear vulnerability. And that's the real tragedy. Here's something strange. The more comfortable you become with solitude, the less lonely you feel. Solitude is not loneliness. It's intentional aloneness. It's choosing to sit with your thoughts instead of escaping them. It's walking through a forest, phone off, breathing fully. People who embrace solitude often report deeper clarity, stronger intuition, and a richer inner world. They aren't avoiding people. They're reconnecting with themselves. Many great thinkers cherished solitude. Nietzsche wrote, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties." Virginia Woolf believed every woman needed a room of one's own. The paradox is this: when you become your own home, you stop needing others to fill your emptiness. And that's when you attract real connection. Not from neediness, but from authenticity. What if loneliness isn't your enemy? What if it's your soul calling you back? Loneliness is a signal, like hunger. It's not bad. It's your body, your heart saying, something's missing. Something needs care. But here's the twist. What we think we need isn't always what we truly need. Sometimes we chase people who feel familiar, not seeing. We seek noise instead of meaning. But loneliness asks us to pause, to ask deeper questions. Have I been true to myself? Am I surrounding myself with real connection or just distraction? What part of me have I been neglecting? The answers aren't always easy, but they're honest, and they bring us closer to something real. So, loneliness isn't what you think it is. It's not a punishment. It's not proof that something is wrong with you. It's just a part of the human experience, a call for connection, not just with others, but with your own soul. In a world that moves fast, where we're taught to be constantly connected, constantly productive, it takes courage to slow down and listen, to sit with our silence, to ask, what is this ache really trying to say? You are not broken. You are not unworthy. You are just waiting to be seen, first by yourself. And maybe that's what loneliness really is, the space where your truest self is waiting to be heard.